Okay, good morning guys. It's Friday here. Beer drinking day, rum day, whatever kind of day. Anyway, let's see what we got on the go today. So Truckenstein, as you can see, is up on jack stands. We got it all even. We put it up on jack stands. Let me walk around here. Get a good look there. Dave and I have managed to get all the front fenders are lined up. They are finally on. They are not coming off anymore. The hood is on. We're getting there. We're getting there slowly. We got the electric fan in the front mounted. We've got his radiator mounted. We got all his hoses going together nicely on there. Battery box is all in. So we are getting there slowly but surely. The front end is done. We got the vent, which I showed you up in there. Remember last time I said to you guys I prefer to paint the vent black, the netting, rather than white, and there's why. See, it just looks nicer. It just looks way nicer like that. So we're getting there. Like I say, all the edges of everything have been painted. All the edges of the fenders have been painted inside. So you back tape everything, mask it off. Firewall's nice shiny black. There you can see where we had done the white and we did the cutoff line. We used the body line as a cutoff line for the black for the firewall. This part we painted white because when the hood is closed, you see this, and you don't want that being black. So doors are on, doors are fitted. Doors will come back off one more time because now I got to paint the inside of the cab and the doors. So now what we're up to, as you can see, look at the fender. That's exactly how we're going to mount it because that's how the guy wants it. He wants it to look like it's going downhill like that. But anyway, no, on a serious note, I thought the box on this truck, when I went and looked at the truck at Mark's place, the box was mounted on. It was very hard to see in his garage, but the more you start assembling the truck, the way he had the box mounted, it was totally wrong. Nothing would line up properly. So now we're drilling, marking, jacks, just blocks of wood. You can see we got our stack of blocks of wood right over there. We got jack stands there. We got levels laying out all over the place, pieces of wood, because now we're marking and trying to get the running boards to fit up to the body properly. Then the fenders up to the running boards and the fenders up to the bloody box. It's a real nightmare here. Because keep in mind, this truck is on an S10 frame, but it's been changed over a few times here. So we're working on that. We're putting the tailgate on. The reason you put the tailgate on is you can see when we close the tailgate, now they bolt down in here, these, and that holds your box. And your box, this bolt runs through this panel, which slides into here and holds it all together. But for all you guys out there, once you square up the box, you make sure the box is square by measuring corner to corner, then you pull the sides in, make sure they're even, and you run a weld down here because bolts will never hold it. A box is always rigid, moving like that, it's just going to pull apart. So you run a weld down here. So you put the tailgate on. Dave and I later, when he gets in, we'll be making sure the box is squared up and bolted down. Then we'll be doing the weld down there because you can already see right here, look at this gap. Look at this gap going on compared to this side where it should be at. And that's only because all you got to do is, see guys what I mean? The bolts just always will loosen off. So you got to do the weld down in there. So anyway, we're working on that. And as you can see, there's what it looks like inside. He's going to lose a little bit of box height. Not a lot, but a little bit because it is on the S10 frame there. So you got to raise it up. This one's just giving us a little grief here because Mark originally had an S10 frame on the front. Then he had too long a frame, so then he cut the frame and spliced in a different frame, and but it's all working out. It's all working out. So that's where we're at right now. So hopefully here at the end of the day, I at least get one side figured out. Once you get one side, the other side goes easy. But I think I got the one side figured out pretty much. So we're getting there slowly. And there's the inside. Like I say, it's all in primer. So it's all coming along. And it's all good. It's all good, guys. So that's it. So, okay. So, I'll get right back to you here in a bit. Probably at the end of the day, we'll do a follow-up on this video, see how we made out, see if we managed to get that side all done. Hopefully this side too. It depends. Today's a short day. I'm out of here at 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock, I'm calling it a day. I'm getting in my 52 Chev. I'm going to go out cruising, drink some beer. Well, not driving and drinking beer, but you know what I mean. Okay, guys, so we'll see what we can get done at 7 o'clock in the morning, so let's get to it. Okay, see you in a bit. Okay, well, the end of the day has arrived. I've cleaned myself up. I've washed the wheels and tires on my 52 because they're wide whites and they're chromies, and that's about the only thing on that car worth washing. So anyway, This is where we ended up on Mark's truck. Let me take a look here and we'll show you guys what went on. Okay, so it's back up on the hoist now. So as I was showing you earlier, here, let me get around here. It's a little difficult with the hoist. We've got the fender all bolted on this side. Fender's bolted on, we're happy with it. We got the running board sitting on there. Now what I meant by these trucks, there's a lot of guys out there that mount these trucks on S10 frames and they work out perfect. You just make some mounts and away you go. And that's really what's going on here, is we had to make some mounts up. Mark had made some mounts up himself for the box. And I thought it was just going to bolt right together, but it appeared that we had to change a few things. So it's all good though. So the passenger side's basically done. We've got it on the hoist now just for the fact that underneath the running boards, you've got 3 mounts. You've got one at the back, one in the middle, and one at the forward position there. And all I did underneath was I made the mounts up, and there were ones that Mark had already made up, and then I just kind of cut them and made them work a little better. And what I've done is I've kind of just welded them in place for now. And this way here, now that the truck is on the hoist, I can get up in the air and I can finish them off properly. Then Dave and I can blow this whole box back apart, because the box has got to come off regardless anyway, because you cannot paint it obviously on the truck. When we paint this truck, doors will be off, box will be off, tailgate will be off, fenders will be off, running boards will be off, these side panels will be off. The only thing that this truck will be painted with together is we are not removing the front fenders of the hood anymore. That's the reason we did all the paint in between the lines and the gaps. All the front sheet metal is going to stay on. Now, like I said earlier before in other videos, there are guys out there that will paint cars in pieces all at the same time or within a couple days of each other, and then they will assemble the whole vehicle. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. The only reason we don't do it that way too often is because there is only 2 of us here. And it's pretty difficult for 2 guys sometimes to be holding a panel on and trying to get a bolt in at the same time. So for us here, with the bigger, heavier panels like the sheet metal where you got adjustments and shit like that you got to play with, we tend just to get all the lines and gaps and in behind the areas painted, and we bolt it all together, and that's the way we go about it. And there's lots of people doing it that way too. So there's pros and cons to everything, buddy. That's just the way it works. So this is how we're doing it. But anyway, let's get it back around the other side of Mark's truck. So, excuse me guys for my voice. Anyway, there you go. You can see it. The running board is on this side. And again, it is just mocked up in place. We've got the fender all mocked up. We got our lower panel just kind of sitting on here loose. So that's it. And as I was saying earlier, I don't know if you can see this. We'll try and sneak around the back. Doesn't look like we're going to be able to see it. Maybe we will. You can get a glimpse. Oh my God. Down in here, you can just see the burn marks where I was telling you got to weld it. Now, before you weld that, like I was saying, before you weld that, you've got to make sure the box is square. You cannot have it diamond shaped. It's so easy to have the box diamond shaped and you'll think it's square when it's not. You got to measure from corner to corner. Don't measure once, don't measure twice, measure 3, 4 times. There's nothing wrong with that. Take your time, you'll get it right. It's better to take your time and do the job once than to just do a hack and whack on it and have to keep going over it a million fucking times, and you know, it's just a nightmare, right? Nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to do that at all. So anyway, you measure it corner to corner, get it squared up, and you just do a couple little tacks in the corner. Then you remeasure, make sure everything's good, make sure the tailgate's operating properly, make sure your box is at its right height, all that kind of good shit, and away you go. Assembly is a huge, huge thing in building cars, and so many people just don't understand how much it takes. And that's just the way it goes. So anyway, so there we go. Truckenstein is coming together. Let's scoot by the hoist. Truckenstein is looking like something. Now I'm hoping to have this truck out of here. Mark would like to have it by the end of May, and I'm going to try to have it by the end of May for him. But I mean, we still need glass, wiring, paint, grill, bumpers have to be mounted. It still needs, oh God, what else does it? It needs exhaust. We need to fire this thing up. We don't even know how it runs. I mean, there's a lot to go on this truck. Needs interior. I still have to get in there and cut the seat riser out and mount a seat in this truck. There's a lot to do, and keep in mind, I've got a lot of other jobs on the go. So I'm going to try my hardest for Mark to get this old girl done, and we'll see what we can do here. Now, for anyone looking out there, if you're looking and you're thinking that the truck's sitting a little lopsided, right now it is. I just haven't got the hoist on its lock arms. I had it up on the air because I was working on it. I just quickly dropped it down for you guys on this video, so that's the reason it looks like it's a little lopsided there. The hoist is a little down on one side compared to the other right now at the moment. Other than that, that's about it. We're working on some motorcycle tank parts here. Kawasaki parts. We're getting those all done. We got a whole group of those over here. I can't remember. I can't remember. It's a Kawasaki in the 80s or something. Painted firecracker red. So we got all the panels for the guy. And actually, it's my wiring guy. These are all his panels. So we're going to get all that done up for him here next week too. So we've always got stuff on the go. Here's a little flathead motor out of the 50 Monarch. There it is. We got her all. We're starting to take it apart. Got the heads off. All that kind of good shit. You know, this motor's rebuilt at one time, looking good. It's got no ridge in there. It says it's 60 over. It's nice and clean. It's nice and clean up inside of there. It ran like a dream, this motor. So that's a good thing. So all we're doing with the motor is we're just gonna regasket the whole motor, because even though he was driving the car, he never drove it for the last, I believe it was 3 years. So the motor's been sitting around. It's starting to get a couple oil drips and shit like that. And you know what? We're doing that Monarch for him. The motor's out anyway. The paint, the firewall, and the inner fenders. We may as well, for $80 or $100, you may as well just take the motor and put a whole new gasket set in it while it's out. Why not, right? Okay, guys, that's it. Remember, it's always a good time at old time, and that's all I got to say to you. I'm going to drink beer. Okay, big thumbs up. See you later.